early experiences. Don't be intimidated by the sweat. I am getting in my health and wellness. But before I finish, I want you to subscribe, like, comment, and share this episode with everyone you know. All right? Do it now. I gotta go. I'm outdoors again, this time not just for self-care, because we all need that, but also for my health and my wellness. I always talk about the importance of taking time to take care of your mind, your body, and your soul. And in order for us to be able to execute our goals and really make our vision come to fruition, we have to be in good shape. And that's not saying you got to be a size 2, a size 0, or even a size 6. It's simply saying that you need to be able to function with a clear mind and a healthy body, no high blood pressure, no diabetes, or at least managing them so that you be able to be healthy to be able to fulfill your goals. Well, fulfilling my goal of health and wellness is not a journey that I've always taken seriously, because I was never that girl that needed to. At least I thought so. But as I got older, I realized that health and wellness is something we all should take seriously. And I didn't do it by myself. I definitely went and got some help because I needed that push. My guests today are 2 people who I have admired. I have had the experience of being in their classes, being coached by them, being encouraged by them to really take my health and wellness seriously. Shawn and Nadia Chevalier, Life and Fitness Coaches, are the bomb. And this episode here really is going to speak to the value and the importance of health and wellness. Let me tell y'all something. It's really good information. I always learn something from them, and I know you're going to learn something from them. Today, I have some special guests with me, people that I love dearly. I consider my brother, my sister, my friends, my people, and I'm just blessed to be in their community. Today, I want to introduce you to Shawn and Nadia Chevalier, Chevalier Life and Fitness Coaching. Let's welcome them. Welcome, Nadia and Shawn.
Thank you for having us, Elaine.
Thank you guys for taking the time out to spend with me and talk it up a little bit. Well, I love to always start off a little loose, just to kind of get comfortable. So I'm going to ask a question. Of course, I'm going to ask a lot of questions, but I'm going to ask the question that everybody wants to know. You ready?
Okay.
I hope so. Yeah.
All right. What was the last guilty pleasure food you ate?
Give me anything? I mean...
Anything.
You go first.
Nestle Crunch.
When was this? No. We gotta talk after this. Gummy bears. I mean, that's about it. Nothing crazy, but gummy bears.
See, I'm so glad you said that, because I don't feel bad, because I literally just had some gummy bears. Like, I just had some gummy. It's the kids' gummy bears, and I saw it, and I just.
This is Shawn's bag of gummy bears. Actually.
Hello.
Oh well, then that's different.
Listen. That was fake news.
I feel good. Awesome. So let's dig right in. Before you guys became Chevalier Life and Fitness Coaching, you guys were working not separately, but kind of doing things in the background, kind of working up towards this, let's say. Tell me about those journeys and those paths you take before you got here.
Sure. So I'll take a stab at it. About 10 years ago, I started Hard Body Outdoor Fitness, and it was an outdoor boot camp company. And over the years, it evolved. It got more busier. I had a million ideas. And Nadia was always my road dog, as always. And I had a million ideas, and I would always bring the ideas to her. But it was like so many different things that I needed to get done. But I really had limited time. And then, of course, having multiple kids, Nicholas was on the way, and schedules changed, right? And the amount of time that we had for training people outdoors changed a bit, especially when the kids had to go to different schools. So there was also a need. And what I noticed in the midst of all of that was, I was trying to take care of people's physical needs, and we started to see Nadia's, life coaching skills really blossom a bit. So we were thinking about certain things of how to incorporate Nadia into it a little bit more, because of course clients come for the physical training, but how to incorporate that level of accountability. And then, of course, with the kids' schedules, things changed, and I couldn't train outdoor early in the morning like I used to. So that kind of died down a little bit naturally, because priorities got to take, certain things take more priority.
Right.
And then one day we were just like, it's time for us to fuse these two skills together, with my physical training, the nutrition side, and Nadia's accountability that I needed for clients. I was like, you know what?
So let me ask you a question. When you initially started Hard Body, was that your vision to have that component in there at some point, or you just figured you had your journey, your vision to just do the physical part to it?
I would say you probably started off with just the physical. The focus
Yeah.
was the physical at first, but as you
Okay.
start seeing clients over the years,
Yeah.
and you realize that they have other things that are blocking them from pushing through or from succeeding, you realize, okay, life is also taking its toll. And so, but when you're meeting at 5 a.m. in the morning, no one has time to figure
Talk
out
about
what's
the
going
issues.
on with that person,
Right.
So I think
Yeah.
as time evolved is when that life coaching or that accountability component is when Shawn started to have that vision.
Yeah.
I would say
Okay.
probably like 5 years ago, like 5 years before we even started this business.
Yeah.
Nice. So you had this vision 5 years ago, and now people would hear that and say, well, what took you so long? But I really want you to explain the process of a vision, and how you just start the first steps before it actually comes to fruition. What were your steps?
Can I just share the first thing that comes to my mind really is like the first thing that I think of is a napkin. Shawn is a doodler. We are both writers. We love to write. And our first steps are like writing our thoughts down. Like we may have a thought, but then we write it down. And then we talk about it. And we may talk about it to nauseam. But we talk about it and we write. And then we may go back to the drawing board, come back, revisit. But our first steps are usually writing it down. That's, I would say, is probably the initial thing that we do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
that's
because, I mean, just when you think of it, you don't have the full thing thought out. So it's
Right.
like, let me just jot something down so I don't forget it. And
Mhm.
9 times out of 10, it evolves, right? But the first step, I think, is just writing something down, and then let it take its
Take its
shape
course.
as we move along.
I love that, because I truly believe in writing things down,
Yeah.
making it plain,
Yeah.
and just making, and so that you can be reminded, and really see where it is and add to it. So I love that that was your step, your first step. So when you started writing and talking through this, did your visions start to work together? Now, Nadia, I know that you, just from personal experience, are very good at life coaching, and really giving advice, and leading people in the right direction. Um, did you initially, did you see yourself doing this with your husband? Or did you say, you know what, you have Hard Body, maybe I'm not even gonna name it for you. I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm not gonna name it, but were you thinking you might want your own thing?
I'm going to be really honest with you. For many years, I was denying, I'm going to say I was denying my gift. I was seeing myself as his support, um, as mommy. I was not trying to get involved. And sometimes he would tap me to actually train classes for him. And I'm like, me? I can't do that. But then I would do it. And then that was an opportunity for me to realize that, okay, I can step out of my comfort zone and do something that I might not have thought that I could do, but try it and you can do it. And so after several years of harassment, not necessarily harassment, but I think
Encouragement.
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 Yes.
Yes.
I came to the realization because also in my career job as well, I was also coaching people without even being that as my actual role. I found myself doing that and doing it well. And then he's like, see, this is why we need to come together and bring the two together and make it happen. And so eventually I decided to look at it seriously and stop denying my gift and actually take it serious. And they'll go ahead and get certified, especially once we decided we wanted to make this an official business. I
Mhm.
realized I needed to take it seriously. So yeah.
I love that because it just from the sounds of your stories, it sounds like you had this one thing that kept following you, you know, and now you're merging the two together, and you got Chevalier Life and Fitness Coaching. And so you're a husband and wife, you have beautiful children, and people would wonder, husband and wife working together,
Mhm.
that has to be difficult. And so I would love for you to shed some light on that, because as a new entrepreneur myself who is working with my husband behind the scenes, there's some tips that I'm pretty sure I could use, and many of my viewers could, take from a couple who I believe are going to be bosses and just change the world.
Yeah.
Um, how do you guys keep business and personal separate?
I think it's always business, but no, and I say that because there's all you're always thinking about the next thing and always just envisioning this next step,
Mhm.
right? So you're always in the midst of your personal life. You're always thinking like, I just saw that billboard, but what if that billboard had our name on it? What do we do to get there? So there's always this intertwining of business and your personal life, right? But one thing that I really, really, really want to, kind of stress to people, husband and wife working together, it's doable because I think once you believe in the person, and that's what it was. It was me believing in her and trusting her enough to say, take care of my clients, right? So once we got to the point where she started to realize that I believe in her and her skills, that's when she really was like, I give up. Let's do this, right? So I think when there's a partnership, I think you have to rely on that partnership in terms of like just trusting one another and knowing that you have a skill, I have a skill. Yes, there's going to be some overlap here and there, but you just have to trust one another enough to kind of know when to back up. And I think it does, lend itself that we've been together for so long, so we kind of know when we're pushing each other a little too far.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
there are times when I know that I need to push her and I need her to push me. So I tell her, I need you to push me this week. I need you to hold me accountable. So there are times where I need her to put the fire on me, right? And vice versa. I know when to push her and get the best out of her. So I rely on our relationship to really push us to the next level, and it's worked very well so far.
I just wanted to add also, I think the beauty of what we do is that it doesn't feel like work. So even
Right.
though it's our business and we're entrepreneurs in this business, it doesn't feel like work and it's so enjoyable. So like we can be cooking dinner, we could be on date night and like, oh, I just had an idea. And it happens just like that. So when
Yeah.
Shawn says it's always business, it's really kind of it's intermingled
Yeah.
Mm.
because we're constantly talking about it and it's not because it's not it doesn't feel like work is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
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 And that's actually that's good advice, and that's a good thing because yeah, initially you would look at that and say business, couple, disaster.
Mm-hmm.
But you make a good point of saying that when you're both passionate about something, and the way you guys are encouraging each other, pushing each other, um, that's a big deal. I mean,
Yep.
that just speaks to that it's more than just the marriage part. There's a friendship and
Yeah.
Yeah.
everything that goes there, and I think that that's beautiful. There's a lot of fitness companies, a lot of boot camps, a lot of these things out there.
Mm-hmm.
What makes Chevalier Life and Fitness Coaching unique to contributing to this field that is pretty big?
You want to take it?
Yeah. Number one, yes. It's hard to sometimes you think about the competition and you get inundated with what's out there and then you want to replicate it. So even in the name alone, right, Chevalier Life and Fitness Coaching, there are two swim lanes, but there is an overlap in what we're doing. And what I learned over the last 11 years of training people is that people love the physical training. But what was happening, again, just to bring back what we mentioned before, trying to mitigate those issues that people may have at 5:30 in the morning, it was not possible. So what we are trying to do is kind of fuse her skills and my skills together in order to make these people successful. So an ideal client will come to us, or a person will come to us and say, I really want to lose weight. And I'm like, sure, I can get you on the right plan based off of your needs, your limitations, and this is how you go about doing that with, your particular issues or whatever situation.
Mhm.
But what ends up happening is that as this person is going down the journey, through their journey, they're going to hit roadblocks. And sometimes they may not want to disclose to the male trainer that they're having a certain issue. But what we've done is that we've inserted certain check-ins that Nadia would do, and she would call them maybe on a week or bi-weekly basis to say, hey, how are you doing? Are you sticking to the program? Shawn gave me feedback that you're about, 40% compliant. He's reached out to you. Is everything okay? Now, coming from me is one thing as the male trainer, right? And it comes off as me, get those done, that kind of thing sometimes, right?
Yeah.
But coming from her with her voice and her skill set, her soft skills, speaking to someone on the phone, they may say, well, it's this time of the month. I really don't feel that great. I didn't want to tell that to my coach. I didn't want to tell Shawn that, but she will be able to understand and be able to talk them through their situation. And that's just an example.
Mhm.
But those check-ins are what we determine is really, really important for someone to reach their physical goals. So the check-ins are part of my fitness training. And for her, when she has her life coaching, some people just need to move. So we will prescribe certain movements based off of their movement or their needs.
Mhm.
So there is a two swim lanes, but there is an overlap to help people reach their goals.
Okay, so you mentioned roadblocks, and I'm curious to know what roadblocks have you guys had to encounter, and are you using some of the same techniques that you tell your clients to help you with your business?
Yes, absolutely. What some of those techniques are either writing it down, coming up with a plan, an action plan, and actually sometimes even setting alarms, setting an appointment for yourself to get things done. Like I have several goals that I'm trying to accomplish, and I sometimes need to prioritize those goals, right? So one of the things you have to do is prioritize. You can have a million and one goals, but how can we tackle all of them? What is the top? What are the top three? And how soon are you trying to reach those goals? So those are some of the techniques that I share with our some of our clients, and I'm implementing them for myself as well.
I
Nice.
think, in all honesty, uh, I want to see the receipts, right? I want to see that people actually did it.
Mhm.
So if it is the workout, if we're using our app, I want to see that you did the work. I want to see the proof that you did it. And it's not just checking in on the telephone, but it's actually being accountable to the point that you are completing what you said you're going to do. So I think that is one thing. And just pick up the phone and just saying, hey, you said you're going to do this, do it. Uh, Sending me a text message, that's one way to confirm that you did something. I got it done today. I feel great, coach. And I can respond back.
Mhm.
And that's what we use for one another, right? Did you get your workout in? How did you feel? And we use those tools for one another because we know when we're pushing
Mhm.
hard, right? And sometimes
Yeah.
we're like, you don't look that sweaty. I think you could do that over again. And
Yeah.
right, but we know
Yeah.
when we're really cutting corners. So the
Mhm.
tools that we use for our clients, we definitely use for
Yep.
one another. It may be direct or sometimes to like humor, right? Did you get that workout in?
Mhm.
Or I did see it on your Apple Watch and it only said 10 minutes.
I love it. You don't just talk the talk, you
No.
walk the walk.
You
I
got to.
love it.
You got to.
I love that. There was this quote that I saw that said, and I'm paraphrasing here, but it was basically saying, do not take advice or do not take criticism from people who are who are too comfortable being comfortable. So if they're not trying to make no moves, if they're not doing anything to help themselves, but they're sitting there flapping their gums,
Yeah.
Right.
what do you
Right.
know? Should I trust what you're saying? How do you know that it works? So
Right. Right.
And and what you just
that's
said
really good.
reminded me of another quote, action speaks louder than words. It
Absolutely.
is so true. My mother used to drill that in my head, and I realize now why she did. Because
Yeah.
it means exactly what that it
Yeah.
says.
Yeah.
Your action speaks louder. Like you can
Yeah.
say all day what you want to do, but if you're not taking the action to accomplish it, then it means nothing.
Right.
Means nothing. Yeah. I agree. Show me, show me the receipts. Is that what they say, right? Show me the
Right.
receipts.
That's right. That is right.
So I know that you guys are very active in your community. Share some of the things that you have done for your community, and also if this business was a reason why you started, well, the community work that you do, is that part of the reason why you started Chevalier Life and Fitness?
I think when you look at the title Chevalier Life and Fitness Coaching, it is a very big umbrella. And are we really in the community touching people like we want to? Not yet. But what we are doing is, of course, spreading the word of what people can do through social media. We're talking to people in terms that they can understand of what they can do at home to get started. So we're using our words to really empower people to take where they are right now and take some action. But even in the midst of this, we start to realize that not everybody can afford our services. So
Mhm.
there are times when we say, and I've learned this 10 years ago when I started this program and realizing sometimes you just got to throw out the bait and you got to also help people, right? So we put out scholarships and we offer our services to maybe one or two people who may not be able to afford it at this time, but really do need the services.
Yeah.
So that's one way we kind of say, listen, it's not always about the money, but it is about changing your life. And that person will actually appreciate it wholeheartedly. And we do have some clients from 11 years ago
Yep.
who are given a scholarship, one who came back to us now,
Yeah.
and she's gone through the program and she really, really did it, made some changes for herself. And another one who is still a close, dear friend till this day. So giving yourself as it's a part of service, helping people where they are. And I think when you do that, you get back something in return, So do we plan to do more like that in the future? Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Are there ways for us to reach more people? Absolutely. But right now, I think we're taking what we can handle and just doing what we can right now.
Right. Well, I can say, just for a little bit of experience, I feel like even though we are in COVID, that you have, in my opinion, still reached out and touched the community just through your classes that you do virtually, checking in with people, community services that you guys have done, even though it's not, physically there, but you're like physically there. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so I mean, that's commendable. That's really good. So tell me what is going on with this wonderful business of yours. What do you guys foresee for yourself within like the next 5 years or so?
Wow. That's a very good question.
I'll let Nadia answer that. I mean, I'll let her answer it.
I mean, besides being international world changes, which is what,
Listen. Let me.
but I
So,
want to hear what y'all think.
so to be honest with you, I think we definitely want to do more community outreach, but we also want to work more with some corporate organizations. We already have one corporate client, and we're actually trying to expand to do more with corporate organizations. The work that we do with individuals, we love that. That's where we thrive, and that's where our passion is. But I think we realize that we can potentially have a broader reach, and so being able to bring some of these skills to an organization to help, because sometimes they may not even know, or their employees may not even know that the benefits to something like this,
Right.
and
Yeah.
until you share, what the opportunity can be. And so I think expanding our reach to more corporate organizations is something that we see ourselves doing over the next 5 years.
Yeah, and I think having a library of systems that people can come to us and
Mhm.
say, I really want to get myself right. What do I do? And we've started to build that library, and we're putting these ideas out. And I have a million workouts and ways for people to do this over the years that I've written down on a piece of paper, and I've saved it, put it in my notes.
Mhm.
But it has morphed into something. So I'm taking the thoughts and putting it into something and creating those systems. Uh, but the corporate, we're parents, right?
Yeah.
And we have three kids, and we know how it is to be busy, to be stressed,
Yeah.
to be strapped, and to just be like, I am not working out right now. So if we can get people to prioritize their health,
Yeah.
let them realize that if they're healthy, they can be better parents, they can be better workers, they can be better friends. and they could be more productive in society, right? If they just prioritize their health. And some people don't know what that looks like, right?
Yeah.
So when I put things out, it's to say you can do this workout in 5 minutes. Well, for the corporate client as well, people who are busy, well, I'm going to help them prioritize their time and say, listen, right now, while we meet on this Zoom, we're going to do this workout together, and let's go. Let's start the day with this, and we build bit by bit. So the corporate exposure is definitely big, but it's just mastering what we have right now. And if we can master that, I think the enormity, how big it can get, will come. But I think it's just where we are right now is growing at a pace that we can manage.
That's sustainable for
and
us,
we enjoy it. So we can't do more than we can handle. So just mastering what we can.
because that's definitely one thing that we've always said. We don't want to overreach ourselves. Right. Because then you end up watering down the quality of your service. Right. So something that's sustainable and that we can manage. Yeah.
That was very good advice, because I know people like myself, sometimes when we see a vision or we get passionate about something, we get so excited that we want to do it all.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes we look on Instagram and Facebook and we see people doing their thing and we feel like we need to catch up, forgetting that we have our own lane.
Yeah.
And we can handle what we can handle.
Yeah.
And it's for us, and nobody's going to take that. So I love that, your vision really, it encompasses your marriage, your family, and in your quality service. And I think that is a very good advice. And so I feel like, what would you tell any one of these new entrepreneurs like myself, who, we have these big ideas, and you mentioned that, Shawn, that, you had a lot of ideas, and, you know, Nadia would help you bring them down to kind of like say, let's work with this, let's make sense of this. What advice would you give a person who has all of these ideas and wants their vision to evolve, because it will evolve as you stated, to kind of just take their time with it and, let it flow, or, be patient with the process?
So you definitely want to pace yourself, but there are times when opportunities present themselves. And if it seems feasible for your family, for if it aligns with what your vision is, there are times when you may want to jump to those opportunities, right? Because sometimes the risk is beneficial, right? Sometimes many successful business owners have taken certain risks and it has paid off. That's one thing I think I was always afraid of doing, because, you're thinking as mom and as wife, I was thinking about the household and certain risks I wasn't willing to take. But then I realize now that there are some that are worth taking. You always have to evaluate them, make sure that they align with what your goals are. And there will be opportunities that present themselves. And you, as a married woman, you speak it over with your partner if it works, and then you move forward. But you definitely want to prioritize all of the vast ideas that you may have, because not everything can possibly be tackled all at once, obviously, right? You want to definitely prioritize them, what works for you at this moment. And also, no one wants to be a jack of all trades and a master of none.
Did you hear that, folks?
Seriously, I really believe in that. That's one of the things that we constantly talk about when we launch our programs. I'm always like, we have to cap it at a certain amount, because we don't want to water down ourselves, right? We don't want to water down the quality of service that we are providing. I'm a very personable person.
Yeah.
And a personal experience is what I thrive off of. And I think our clients love that about what we do for them. And so you just don't want to spread yourself thin. So something to consider as you are thinking of all your goals.
Yeah, those are great, babe. I am a visionary. I love, I have a million thoughts. And Nadia mentioned something here, and what I had to learn over the years is I sometimes will have 10 thoughts, and I want to bring all 10 thoughts to her right then and there. And what ended up happening is I had to get a book, and I write a lot. and I would doodle and I would write a mind map, and I would go, why this, how, what, a vision, this is the logo, why, here, this is when we're going to start. But what I realized is that that actually causes her stress. So I almost had to do my own like SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And I had to do that for myself, right? Where I had to think it through first. And if I can get the strengths to outweigh the weaknesses, and is this truly an opportunity? And is this really going to be a threat to our home? Then I let it sit there for a second, and I turn the page and I go to the next idea. What ends up happening is after I write this stuff down and I think it through, I go, this is really not a good idea, because this will be in competition with X, or the time, that I'm doing something, it may not be the right time. But in my mind, I'm like, we could do this right now. We could do this right now. Right. But if I bring it to her without really thinking it through, what happened many years ago, I would bring the ideas and she'd be like, not right now, or she'd be like, whoa. But what was happening is that I was bringing things to her that were risky, right? Things that were in my mind sounded okay, but I didn't really think it out. So then I kept bringing these ideas to her and she'd be like, not now. Whoa, that's a little crazy. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to think it through. I'm going to bake this. And then I'm going to go, hey, this is what I thought about for the last week. What do you think about that? And I set reasonable expectations where if she says no, I'm not like holding it against her, but I'm just like, she just has to think about it. So that's where the relationship comes in, where I got to go, I'm giving her a bunch of data and I have to fall back and carry on versus stand there and go, what do you think? Like, can we do this now? But that's what I was doing before, right? So you learn over time and you realize how to communicate with your partner, your business partner, but you don't want to overwhelm yourself. So take bite off a little bit at a time. And if you write this stuff down and you can really think about where this will go, present that properly to whomever you want to present it to, maybe your business partner or someone who you can just say, hey, listen to this idea. What do you think about this? And they're going to go, that really sounds fantastic. What's next? Right? So there are levels to it.
I was just going to jump in there and say, because if you're a solo entrepreneur, you may not necessarily have a business partner and you're doing this on your own. Hopefully you have someone in your corner who's a sounding board for you, that you can bounce off these ideas with. So you just put the words on.
That's good. I think that the key thing that I got from that was you guys was sticking to your core values, and clearly family is one of those. So if it conflicted with that, it was like time out. So that was really good.
Yeah.
So we're going to wind it down. This is so good. I don't even want to end it, but I would love to find out, what do you guys do for fun when you're not instructing and you're coaching? What are some of the things you just do to just relax and hang out, have a good time?
I love a good audiobook. I enjoy some me time, and that can be taking walks by myself and spending some time listening to some good old soca. An audiobook, but alone with my thoughts. I love doing that. Now that the world is kind of closed off, I can't really do much spa days, but I do love a good spa day when the world opens back up again.
Yes, indeed. What about you, Shawn?
I'm a podcast and audiobook person, but I have really gotten into it since we've been in the East in this situation. Most importantly, I have to exercise. I think for the safety of the house, for my own sanity, it is my me time. So I've learned over the last 11 years that is my decompression time. And as hard as it can be sometimes, it is a priority for me, and everything else evolves around it. And when I don't exercise, she will tell me, you need to go exercise. So I get wound up because, again, I have a lot of things running in my head, follow up to certain things, and it gets bubbled up. So when I do exercise, I can come back with things more refined. So for me, the exercise is where I do my refinement. But listening to my audiobook, even when I'm out on my walks, is a great time for me to just take a deep breath, detach from home, and just come back a little bit more focused.
Absolutely.
Nice. Well, unfortunately, y'all, we got to end. I know, I feel the same way. I get it. But Nadia and Shawn, thank you so much for taking the time to just hang out and talk and tell us a little bit. Let us in your life a little bit and little secrets that you have that makes you successful. Please tell us how we can keep in touch with you.
Sure. So our website is www.chevaliercoaching.com. Our Instagram is Chevalier_coaching. And yeah, that's where we can be found on Instagram and Facebook.
And all those links are on the website too. So I think there aren't too many Chevalier Life and Fitness Coaches.
I don't think there are.
We can definitely be found, but one of the best ways is word of mouth. So
yeah,
ask somebody and hopefully they can tell you something good that they may have learned from us.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Thank you guys once again. Well, guys, we're coming to an end, and you heard it. Get in touch and support all things Chevalier Life and Fitness Coaching. You will not be disappointed. I'm rocking one of their shirts. And let me tell you, the energy, the encouragement from these two is golden. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with everyone you know. And until then, take care.